I rise in opposition to this rule and the underlying bill, which proposes a $300 million increase over last year for the operations of this House. That's a 6.3% increase at a time most Americans' budgets are shrinking. $51 million of this increase goes to members' representational allowances, or the MRA, which we all use for operating our offices and keeping in touch with our constituents. Now, I'll be the first to tell you that my office could use an MRA increase. My district is 105,000 square miles. I fly several 100,000 miles every year. I probably drive another 50,000 miles in my district. Traveling my largely rural district and staying in touch with thousands of Nevadans takes a significant amount of MRA funds. But I am always mindful of the fact that MRA funds are simply taxpayer dollars by another name, and I have a responsibility to use those funds wisely. Many of my constituents and many of yours are making do with less than they had last year. As public servants, we have a responsibility to make similar sacrifices. Some counties in my district are facing 15% unemployment. Statewide unemployment is hovering around 11%, well above the national average of 9%. Nevada's current unemployment level is the highest rate of joblessness since they began keeping track or keeping record in 1976. Our state budget crisis led the Nevada legislature to cut back services some 20%. Meanwhile, Nevada has been hit hardest by the wave of foreclosures sweeping the United States. Those lucky enough to have a job are also making tough decisions. Moms and dads across the country are sitting around the kitchen table deciding what must be cut from their family budgets to ensure they can pay their bills and feed their children as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. Meanwhile, our nation as a whole faces an $11 trillion debt. Last night, in spite of irresponsible journalism this morning by the Politico to the contrary, I offered an amendment to the Rules Committee that would simply retain the fiscal year 2009 funding level for the MRA. This amendment is simple, but I believe it shows the Americans figuring out their family budgets at the kitchen table this morning that they are not alone. That someone in Congress understands that these difficult times calls for shared sacrifice. We who have been given the honor of serving in this body must be part of this sacrifice, and that starts here in our office, and it should start now. Unfortunately, my amendment was rejected by the Rules Committee. I urge this body to reject this restrictive rule so that my amendment can come to the House floor, give this Congress a chance to lead by example with common sense fiscal responsibility. Thank you, and with that I yield back.